determined it, but we will only determine it on the 22nd of February, just for your knowledge. So how do we address a judge? If a judge stands here and he gives a presentation, you want to ask a question. How will you start your question? Tell me. Yes, you.
I would say justice. Mr. Justice, for example, of.
Okay. Or judge.
Yes.
Or judge. Good. And in court, if you appear before him as a legal practitioner or as an accused, then it's my lord or her ladyship, if it's female. Okay. So we don't just, if the judge, because I know the judges are giving presentations here, we don't just ask questions or you. No. Judge. Even if you use the word judge 20 times in one sentence, you do that. Because you have to show respect. You are receiving training at the moment to maybe one day be lucky and be appointed as a judge, and then you can have the same respect. But until such time, you will show respect to our judges. Understood? Good. Now, I thought I will spoil you today, but I'm a bit worried. If I spoil you now, then you're not going to listen to me. So, let me spoil you, but I need a promise from each and every one of you. You're not going to page through this. This is bedtime reading, okay? This is our report for 2015-16, recently published, and it gives you an oversight of what's going on in the High Court and what we do there. I also brought, Lorraine, will you help me please? Each and every one a little gift, 2 gifts in here. And if you are not here or if you are late, you will miss out on this opportunity, of course. Now, for today, part of this presentation, and I'm not going to really do it, Claudia, a couple of weeks ago, actually asked me to, at some stage, come and give a specific presentation on how you can use our website to your advantage, being a magistrate, being a better magistrate, make your life easier, even get statistics from the magistrates. I'm not going to go there today because that is a presentation on its own, maybe a whole afternoon or a whole morning. I'm literally going to introduce you to our e-justice and the various functionalities there. Understood? Good. What is, let me ask you this, any one of you who's never heard of e-justice? Everybody has heard of e-justice. Now, what am I doing here?
I can tell you I heard e-justice and that is that. I don't know what is e-justice, what do you do with e-justice?
Oh, anyone sharing Alvin's view?
I heard about e-justice, and what I think is the nemesis of the High Court, just a bigger version of it.
You think you're on the right track? Anybody else who heard anything else about e-justice?
I would agree with it, and I think it has the addition of, it enables the lawyers to file.
Okay, but please don't take over my presentation. I like myself. This is my moment. Yes, you are 100% correct. But it's even more. Any one of you who's ever used or visited our website? So what you do is the following. And please stop me if I'm wrong. You go to Google. And then you type in something and you search. Not. So you go to our website. And then where do you click? Under High Court. Usually, okay. I'm going to do what you tell me to do, and then what do? Then you go to, how do you find these judgments that you're looking for?
There's a search option.
Okay, no, you've already answered me. Anybody else who used our website for anything other than that or in any other manner? Not you.
Control for the day.
What do you want to do with our courtroom?
depends what I'm looking for, certain cases that I'm interested in.
And how do you find that?
Go to the control, the
Same, yes. So what you, has anyone ever given you training on how to use our website? So what you are telling me is it is user friendly?
very.
I'm so glad to hear that. Because I think it's user friendly. Why? Because I designed it. That's the truth. But I've never really heard from anybody else whether you think it's user friendly. Yes, the legal practitioners tells me it's user friendly, but they've been using it since the 21st of March 2014. So of course they know the website. So this is good news for me. E-Justice stands for electronic justice. And e-Justice was designed by the High Court, for the High Court, recently expanded to include also the Supreme Court. E-Justice consists basically of two fractions. The one is the electronic filing, case management, and diarising system. NAMSIS, more functionality. So you were right on that aspect. The second one is also our Superior Court's website. And how do you access this website? What's the address? www. Like any good website address. And then e-Justice. And then dot, unfortunately still MOJ for Ministry of Justice. We will change it in future to OOJ, Office of the Judiciary. Dot NA for Namibia. Once you open this address, then you will see our website. And on that website, you can get a lot of information. You do not need to register to use our website. You do not need to beg to use our website. You do not need to apply. You just use it. I'm going to today give you a brief overview, very brief, on the website, just to make your lives a bit easier when you go back to your various stations. The second component of our e-Justice is this electronic filing, case management, and diarising system. And you access the portal for this electronic system via our website. That is why we have the word e-Justice over there. This is where you can log in if you are lucky enough to be a registered user. But you can also view cases even if you are not a registered user, and we'll come to that a bit later in this presentation. Now, e-Justice, that's now the electronic system, not the website part, is an interactive web-based system. It means interactive, per definition. More than one person can interact with one another. Web-based, it's on the internet. That's all that I said. Interactive web-based. It's an electronic system for the courts where more than one user or person can interact with one another at the same time, and you can access it how? Via internet, the web. Which means that this morning when I attended the management meeting, I actually sat there and on my cell phone, I issued an urgent application, I signed it to a judge, and I sent a message to the judge with certain instructions. Because you don't need a computer. With NAMSIS, you have to be in the court building, in front of a computer which got access to it. You cannot, if you sit in Corrigas and you have access to NAMSIS there, you cannot interact on NAMSIS with someone in Windhoek. You cannot see, if you're sitting in Oshikati, you cannot see the Windhoek cases. You can only see the Oshikati cases. Am I correct? Now, I will be able to see all cases now. Supreme Court, High Court, Oshikati, Windhoek, everything. I can see it here. End of last year, I was privileged enough to go to England, the UK, London more specific, with the Judge President on our latest venture, and you will read about it in our book, The Commercial Courts. And in the evenings, I would sit in a park with my tab, and I would issue cases, I scheduled cases, I sent bench memos to the judges. I did my work as if I was in my office. Just, it was a much better office because it was so nice. So that is what interactive web-based means. It is accessible from the Superior Court website. We call this website the Superior Court website. As you can see, it says right at the top there, Namibia Superior Courts. It provides access and functionality to all role players in what type of cases? All civil cases in the High Court. All labour cases in the High Court. Recently added, criminal appeals. And now your ears should do this. Any one of you who sit on the criminal bench at the moment? You can actually see what's happening with your criminal reviews and your criminal appeals by visiting our website or our site, by the way. So we've recently added also criminal appeals, as well as then Supreme Court appeals recently added. If I say all civil or labour, it means all civil cases initiated the High Court Main Division, which is situated in Windhoek, as from the 27th of June 2016 onwards. We did not capture historic data like we did when we went live with NAMSIS. We left the historic, the paper files, and we just started with new electronic cases. Labour, any new labour case initiated in the High Court Main Division and Northern Local Division as from the 2nd of September 2017. And any civil case, that's also the same date for criminal appeals. And for civil cases in the Northern Local Division situated in Oshikati, as from the, now I can't remember, either the 27th or the 17th or the 28th of November 2016. So we are live in Oshikati with civil now for a year, and for more or less almost a year and a half in Main Division. I've already mentioned, if you want to access our website, www.ejustice.moj.na. In your presentation, I've made a screenshot. I've given you the address. I've also given each and every one of you a pen, which has got the website address on it, and a little gift, which also contains the website address. So no excuse not to use e-justice in one form or the other. By the way, you will never get a pen that is so lekker to use. This one. Try it. Not now. Now, I've already mentioned that the website, so I'm now going to go over to the website aspect before we go to the e-justice aspect. This website gives access to the portal. This is this part over here. But it basically comprises out of 5, 6 different areas when you use it. Here at the top, can you see? Yeah, you can actually see that. Here at the top, that is your static data that you usually get on a website. These are things which do not change that often about us. It tells you a bit more. telephone numbers, please don't use it. We've changed the telephone numbers quite recently and we're still in the process, so it still has the old telephone numbers. We will change it later. The organizational structure as well as a site map to tell you how to find your way on this website. This is very basic for any website. Then here at the bottom, if you need to get access to anything on the Supreme Court, that would include the Supreme Court rolls. It would include all Supreme Court judgments. Now, we've captured as many as possible reported and unreported Supreme Court judgments prior to March 2014, but we could not get hold of everything. But you will see there's quite a number. As from March 2014, all judgments delivered in the Supreme Court are there. The same goes for the High Court. A lot of old judgments, but as from March 2014, all judgments, recent judgments delivered in the High Court, Oshikati and Windhoek, are being published on our website. But if you click on the Supreme Court part, you will only find, if you go to those judgments over there, by clicking on it, you will only find the Supreme Court judgments. They display 15 at a time, with the most recent ones on the front page. It is according to year as well as according to month. If I say year and month, it means the year and month during which it was delivered, not heard. Questions? No. You don't need to ask questions because when I explain, I do a good job. You can also get access to any legislation specifically applicable to the Supreme Court if you go to the Supreme Court section. So there you will find, first come to mind is the Supreme Court Act, the Supreme Court rules and any directives issued by the Chief Justice for the Supreme Court. If you need something else, you have to go and look for another place. And then, of course, the media section, which is all the speeches and publications coming from the Supreme Court. If you go to High Court, you will get basically all those functionality, but applicable to the High Court and more. The first one at the top you will see, which is now added, is mediation. So there you can get a list of our mediators' names. If you are a mediator, you can access the mediation diary there. If you are a mediator, you can see whether Mr. Nederlof has processed your request for payment for a mediation that you've already done. And if you are interested in seeing what is happening in the mediation, you can actually download, it's an Excel spreadsheet, and you can do some statistics to see which mediator is actually a bit more successful than others and how often they get selected. Court rolls, on our court rolls, this is by the way, this is a 3-layer website. What does that mean? It's easy. 1, down there. 2, down here or up here. And 3, it gives you a further option. Not always, sometimes. The moment that you click on the specific one that you're looking for, we've recently had a judgment in Oshikati. But now I cannot remember the name. Maybe you can remember it. It was about a legal practitioner who said that he had to be in another court, I think in the magistrate's court, and therefore he couldn't. You know what I'm talking about, Claudia? Can you remember that judgment?
What's his name?
Okay. Now, one of the issues there is someone gets up in court and they say, Your Honor, my Honourable, I cannot be in this court today because you know what? There's a Caribou judgment. And Caribou judgment says, High Court gets preference. And then you say, because you weren't, in any event, you were not really feeling like working today. Friday afternoon. Who wants to work on a Friday afternoon? No. But you know what? It's so easy to verify whether it's true or not. You just go to High Court, court rolls, day roll, If you are in Oshikati, now I don't think anything will happen today in Oshikati because it's court administrative break. If you're in Windhoek, you can download it and you can open our roll.
You're going too fast.
I'll do it again.
Yes.
I'll do it again, don't worry. And you can actually open a roll, and then you need to have a little bit of knowledge about Excel to know that you need to enable the editing, and then you can see what's going on the High Court roll. So don't tell them you know what to do, just ask them, so what case is this that you have to be in? And then while you sit there, take your cell phone and quickly check, is this true, yes or no? Easy. And you know what, mediation is not a court process. Mediation is something run by the High Court separately. So I can't see how you must get preference for mediation just because it is a process or a procedure introduced by the High Court. But that's beside the point. Now he said I was much too fast. Now you must excuse me, I must sit. Okay. Then I can go slower. So what we do is, let's just go back to the website. You open the website. Slow enough. Then you are looking for a High Court or a Supreme Court roll to verify. In your case, it will most probably be High Court. So you click on the word High Court. Once you click it, you will get a number of options to select from. Now, you are now specifically looking for the day roll in the High Court. So you go to Court Rolls. Once you hover, you don't click on Court Roll. You can click on it, but you just need to move your mouse to stand on top of the word. Look there, hands free. It's like learning to ride a bike. You don't need to keep it there or click. You can just hover, leave the mouse there, and it will open the next section. You are specifically now looking for a day roll. So select day roll. But because this is the end one where you want to be, now you're going to left click. And it will open all the day rolls for that day. One for Northern Local Division, one for Main Division. If you click on the document, and that is for the whole website, whenever you reach your end destination, open the door and get out. How do you open the door and get out? You click on it. By clicking on the selected document that you want to see, the system, the website, will download this document for you not only to view, but to use and even to save on your computer. Because it will open in either Excel or in Word or in PowerPoint or in a PDF Acrobat Reader. It depends on in which format we uploaded it. Now the court rolls, we specifically do it in Excel because it's got a wonderful filter functionality. So for the lawyers, especially with our judicial case management, where Judge Geyer will now, in the beginning of December, I think he's got something like 114 cases on his judicial case management role for one day, one session. So for the lawyers to easily filter and only see their own cases, we're doing that in Excel. Our judgments are predominantly published in Word. Why? When you write a proper reasoned judgment, or if counsel wants to draft proper heads of argument, most often you or counsel would like to quote from that judgment. And I don't know about you, but I use exactly 3 fingers to type. It's these 3. Maybe some of you use 10. But I think the most of us use 1 or 2 or maybe 3 fingers. And to retype everything there, it's a lot of work. So we offer it in Word so that you can highlight, Control-C for copy and Control-V for paste. So easy. Now I'm also giving you a Word lecture. Let's quickly look at judgments, because that is something that you will most probably use. Once again, let's say you are interested in a High Court judgment. You know more or less the name, or you want to try your luck. I'm going to show you how to do that, but then I'm also going to introduce you to the best thing ever since sliced bread. Let me first show you. If you go to High Court and you select judgments, you are now looking for a civil judgment, not a criminal or a labor or tax law judgment. Then you just click on civil. And as I said, it will open up all the judgments which have been uploaded, High Court judgments, onto the system. This includes all reported High Court judgments as well as unreported judgments. Let's look. You need to write a judgment about absolution from the instance. We have the search function. So what did I do just now? In the search block, I typed in the word absolution. And then you click on the magnifier. And the system will now go and search. I'm on the 4G, so it's very slow. For all judgments where the word absolution appears inside. And there's the list of all the judgments with some reference to the word absolution. And if you go to the bottom of the page, you will see that there's actually 4+ pages where that word is. Now you can read the little bit which is displayed there. If you want to open it, just click on it. And once again here, it will download your word judgment. You can enable your editing at the top. And there's your judgment. You can now read and see what's happening. Now, we also have a rule at the High Court. And that is, Charlotte, do we just publish a judgment or do we make life easier for everybody?
Make life easier for everybody. In terms of?
What do you mean in terms of? What's the last thing before the judge signs the judgment? The order, yeah, okay. No, I don't think I'm explaining myself properly. There will be a fly note and a summary on each judgment. Am I correct? Why do we do that? Because we do not have enough work to do. Because we want to make life easier for everybody. Judges, litigants, researchers, academics, magistrates, everybody. But let me show you something else. Who knows about, not you, the judgment indexes? You know the South African Law Report has got judgment indexes. It's a book that they give out. Did you know that we have one?
Yes.
Where do you find it?
Civil court.
If you go to our website, High Court, Register, sorry, you know what? These words were spelled by Chinese people from Singapore. And they tend to forget the last letters. So it's supposed to be registers and reports, not register and reports. One day we'll change this. But if you click there, and by the way, there's also for the Supreme Court, there's also an index. You will find a lot of things, but some of it are our judgment indexes. For every year, one for civil, one for labor, one for criminal. Now, as you can see, there's already one for 2017, because I think Lotta updated it more or less up to the middle of this year, June, July, round about there. Which makes your life even easier to search for a specific topic and to see which judgments, and also to find the most recent one on that topic. Did you learn something up to now? I'm so glad. Good. I'm not going to dwell much longer on this. There's just one thing I just wanted to show you. I'm not going to go into this. But if you go down on this same page, registers and reports, can anybody read what are the last entries there? You want to know what's going on in Mukunda? You want to know whether people actually respond to the queries by the judges? You want to know whether the judges actually do what they need to do? Just open those registers. I try to update them at least once a month. We update it on our computers at the office, but we upload the latest version more or less once a month. So there you can also then see whether there was a judgment, if the clerks don't bring back the report to you to see what happened with your case. You can see whether a judgment was written. You will also get the reference of the judgment, and then you can just go to our judgments criminal and open the judgment to read what the judge said about your abilities as magistrate, as criminal magistrate. Also, you can see there, Claudia, more specific for you at head office, you can see how long the different clerks take from the various stations to submit the review registers. If you look at the very last column of that document, if you open it, I'm not going to open it now because it's quite big and it's going to waste a lot of time. You will see days, and that tells you that it, from the date of sentence up to the date that we received it, 5 days passed, or sometimes 5 years. Anybody here from Katima or Rundu? They are very slow in processing. Anybody here from Reebot? Walvish Bay? Swakopmund? Mugunda Street? Lutherit Street? Much faster in processing their reviews. Oshikati, I can't really say because I haven't had a look at it recently. And I think the register where Oshikati and the areas for Northern Local Division is recorded, they still don't have that column. I will work it in next year so that you also have that. Then if you work on an Excel spreadsheet, please do not sleep while I'm speaking. I do not appreciate it. Then you know that at the bottom there are more than one sheet. So if you click on them, you will find some statistics which we've already done for you. So all of that to make your lives easier. That is enough said about our website. Let me check. I think I've said everything I needed to say. Before I continue with the e-justice system as such, the electronic case management, filing and diarising system, any questions on the website? Anything which you would like to know? Alvin?
This thing is quite interesting, but there on the front page there is login, username, password. Is it also for the public? Public meaning us.
We're going to get there now. That's the next part. Now, just this part here, I've deliberately asked them not to activate it, so you can't access e-justice from this part, though it is there. We've reserved it, and we hope that once OOJ signed the new contract, that we will be able to use that for announcements, any announcement that we wish to make. Accessing it, you go to e-justice. And in answer of your question, I'm going to address that right now. Who is Mr. Van Wyk? Let's start there. Because I do not have a Mr. Van Wyk working for us. Do we have a Mr. Van Wyk? So you asked the wrong Mr. Van Wyk. If you're looking for a judgment that was delivered, everybody has access. Anybody here who's got a smartphone with you right now? Please open my website now. I want to prove to you, anybody, sometimes, yesterday afternoon, 2 o'clock, we delivered a judgment on behalf of Judge Van die Kerk. I haven't had a look to see whether it's uploaded yet. Because it does not just happen or appear from thin air. Somebody needs to log on to our website portal and upload it. Now, the majority of the times we do have it. So that afternoon when we do the rolls and we upload the roll, we will also upload the judgments. But sometimes it happens that a judge, she used to be with a judge that did that. He would say, whoa, 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 I'm going to deliver it, but you're not getting my judgment yet. Why? I need to just double check on grammar and spelling. And then sometimes they take 3 weeks to double check on grammar and spelling. And only then they email the final product, and only then we can upload it. So it could be that the judgment was delivered, but the judge was still busy with final touch. Or she simply forgot to email it to us in order to upload it. But once we receive the electronic judgment, it will be on our judgment site. That I can guarantee you. Let's quickly look whether that one of Judge van Niekerk is there. Oh, so tonight, when I get back at the office, I will definitely speak to Lotta because I mailed her that judgment yesterday. And she did not upload it. Labeskagni versus United Group or something. I can't remember. So here's now one of my research assistants who did not do yesterday what she was supposed to do. So hopefully by tonight she will upload it because it was available already. But that is what happens. If it's not appearing here yet, it's simply because maybe the judge did not send it to us yet, or sometimes we do these rolls 9 o'clock in the evening and then you don't want to still upload judgments, so then you do it tomorrow when you start earlier. That could be the reason. But accessible to anybody. Did you open our website? Did you try to access a judgment? Any judgments? Did you have to log in to get access to it? Good. I'm going to show you now what you are going to miss if you are not logged in. And that's definitely not judgments. That's functionality on High Court cases. Any one of you litigating in a High Court case at the moment? You're a judge? You're a legal practitioner? No. So you're not missing anything. But I am going to show you if a case of you goes to the High Court and it is an e-justice case, registered as an e-justice case, in other words, new cases, how you can follow what's going on without being a registered user. That I will show you. So I promise you, you are not, as magistrates, you are not missing anything. I promise you. Okay. E-justice is available. Am I at the right page? Yes. E-justice is, and now you must listen, available to non-registered users. Forget about the website now. I'm talking about the electronic filing, case management, and diarising system. Okay, so we forget about the website now. We've actually now moved on to this bit over here. It is available to non-registered users, but it is only available to view and access the complete electronic file. And if you are interested in any of the documents filed on that electronic file, to then also open, download, and view, and use for that matter, the public documents filed on the electronic file. Why do I say public documents? Some of those documents, we are very secretive, some of the stuff we do. Like for instance, if one of our research assistants write a bench memo to a judge on a specific case, judge, be careful. This guy selected the domicilium Tandi. But they served it not personally on some other address. You will put that in a bench memo. But we don't want to tell everybody what we've told the judge. That is between the judge and his research assistant. So bench memos are, for instance, not for public view. You will be able to see there's a bench memo, but you won't be able to open it. Not at all. But anything else, you will be able to see. But now I'm a very lazy person. So give me one moment to overcome my laziness. Okay. What I'm doing now, and please, we will do this again. I'm just quickly logging in, and I hope I've got the password correct, yes, into eJustice as me. In order to copy a case number. Because what I want to show you now, I need a case number, any case number for that matter. As opposed to NAMSIS, we've got very short case numbers. SWK hyphen CRM, CRM hyphen a number, stroke, and the year. Here you've got a long, very long case number with all these acronyms. But it's to tell you more about the case. In the magistrate's court, you are basically just interested in knowing, is this a maintenance case, is it a civil case, is it a domestic violence case, is it a criminal case? We also. But we also need to know which division. That's why you got the SWK, etc. But for us, it's also important to know what type of case is it. Is it an application? Is it an action? Is it an appeal? And then is it an appeal from the lower courts? Is it an appeal, an application for leave to appeal from the state? Is it an application for leave to appeal to the Supreme Court? So all of those things are very important to us. We like to dissect everything. I think it's because we don't have enough work. Charlotte, could that be the reason? I doubt. Read the report, you'll see that's a lie. Okay, I just want to go out again. Now, if you are on the website and you are not a registered user, the very top option, case inquiry, is available to everybody. Everybody means registered users and non-registered users. Everybody, even our inmates, they have become experts in eJustice. Especially Marintal. They are the best with this, I promise you. But to avoid fishing expeditions, people sitting with, if our case numbers was, for instance, like yours, I would have put in WHK. Yeah, there is one WHK. Yeah, Pintuk. This was WHK hyphen CIV for civil. And then I would start at number 1 for 2017, 2 for 2017, and I would be able to open all the cases. That's not the idea. If you want to see an electronic case, you must have a reason to see it. That's why you need the correct case number. Now, we do have sequential numbers, numerical, but the acronyms are not the same for case 1 and 2. Therefore, fishing expedition is not going to work. You need to know your case number. Now let's quickly look at you being magistrates at the moment. One of your cases are being sent to the High Court on appeal. What happens? The moment that we register it, our electronic system immediately notifies that station at a predefined email address, which was given to us by Mrs. Salionga. Judge Salionga acting at the moment. And in that one it will tell you we've registered the following criminal appeal here at the High Court and this is the case number. So that's where you can get it, the case number. If you go to case inquiry and you simply click on it, you will see that the system actually asks you to insert the case number. You cannot insert just a portion of the case number. Now you will understand why I first went and collected the case number. You have to type in the complete case number with every zero and every hyphen and every little thingy. Once you've done that, you click on search. And what the system then does, it opens the complete electronic case file. And as you can see on the screen there, we've opened now a High Court Main Division case, which is a civil case. It is an action, and by now you definitely know the difference between action and motion. Am I correct? How do you initiate an action? Summons. The cause of action is based on contract, C-O-N for contract. We differentiate between contract, dealing, matrimonial, and then there's one for other. Now, other is actually for these constitutional issues and legislation because it's not contract and also not elect. But unfortunately, some of our legal practitioners gave their usernames and passwords to their secretaries, and they don't know the difference between dealing, contract, and matrimonial, so they just select other for just about everything. But in this case, it's for contract. It's a 2017 case, and this was case number 2, action, 2079 for this year. It also tells you the case title. It's East End Frontiers Holding versus CC Consulting and Technical Services. We only use the first plaintiff, first defendant, first applicant, first respondent's name. We don't have that and other stuff. It is an action. It's a contract. It tells you main division. It tells you the status of the case is it's in hearing status at the moment. It also tells you that this is a judicial case management case. It's not a residual case. And I can use these terminology because you know what residual court now is and you know what judicial case management is. Am I correct? Yes. Oh, it's so nice. And we've assigned it to Judge Herman Oosthuizen. He's the managing judge in this case. The summons was filed by Mainga Mukwata, who is at the law firm Kuala & Company, Inc. So what I've read just now is basically the front page of any paper file containing a lot of info. Now, all our electronic files work like a filing cabinet. At the top of the screen you will see it says expand all or collapse all. And underneath that there's these little headings: case details, case parties, legal practitioners, case judges, case hearings, return of service, case history, interlocutories, and documents. It is like standing in front of any filing cabinet with names on top of all the drawers. Those are drawers with labels on it. If you're not interested in whatever is filed in the drawers saying interlocutories, why do you want to open it? It's just wasting space. An electronic case file works exactly the same. Open what you need. So if you need to know what exactly is in the relief claim stated in the particulars of claim, you will click on case details, because it will tell you that they are asking for cancellation of the contract, payment in the sum of $55,000 more or less, interest 20% from date of judgment, cost of suit, further and or alternative relief. Looks very familiar. This is at the end of any particulars of claim just before the signature. They are compelled to insert that. They were also, because this is contract, supposed to tell us that this is for a debt and give us the amount for statistical purposes, but this legal practitioner did not. Now, because it's under judicial case management, we know that this matter is defended, because an action do not go for judicial case management unless it is defended. And by the way, when is it action going for judicial case management? When do you assign it to a judge? And motion general, when do you assign it to a judge? I'm preparing you for the exam. Say thank you. When you assign motion general to a judge, managing judge, go and read Rule 66. And in particular, 66.4. And see what happens if someone opposed, but they did not file their affidavits. What are you supposed to do then? You need to know it. If you are a judge, you need to know whether the case is set down on the correct roll. Tonight you're going to read 66.4 now. And I will ask, who gave you this subject? Shamaine or Natasha? I will ask her to ask this question in the exams. I will ask her to ask it. If there's a notice of opposition and they did not file the opposing affidavit, what happens to the case? How do you deal with it? There was a notice of opposition filed, but no opposing affidavits. How do you deal with the case? Which role? Who should deal with it? Because motion is only allocated after close of pleadings. There was no pleadings. Well, not subsequent pleadings. So that is why Rule 66.4 is there. Set it down on the residual court. Which residual court role? First motion. These are basics. These are basics. But I'm teaching you something, and I promise you I will call Natasha and ask her to ask. Let's just quickly look at something which you might be interested in. You would like to know when is the hearings. So if you click on the folder hearing or the drawer called hearings, it will tell you all these hearings. It tells you that on the 30th of October, the judge had a case planning conference. The case is not yet finalized after this. That's why it says not finalized, because the case is continuing. It's defended. And the matter was postponed, this is just in short, to the 4th of December 2017. And what is your next session or hearing type that we're going to have? It's the hearing of an interlocutory. It tells you that. I don't need to open everything because it tells me everything. And just simply because those are open, it tells me he didn't deal with it. If the judge now makes an order in chambers, for instance, in advance, then it will show complete here and it will give the next hearing. If the judge on that day makes his electronic order, then once again, it will be completed and you will be able to see it. So this gives you a brief summary of what's going on. Now, if you are a registered user, you would have been able to actually open the session and see on a summarized version what the order was. But now you're not a registered user because we are in the public case inquiry. But, don't worry, you're not missing out. Just go to documents. Documents, most recently filed, right at the top, oldest at the bottom. Can you see? Over there. And open and available to the public, to everybody. So if you want to know what... Where's the court order? Case plan. Yeah. What the last, that court order, remember I told you 30 October, Judge Oosthuizen had a case planning conference. You can simply just, I don't think this thing has got PDF on it. Let's see. Open, yeah. Open the order, which is also electronically generated by our electronic system. It looks like this. And you can read exactly what the order was. And remember that we speak to the research assistant who assisted the judge here because she forgot to remove the highlight part. This is our case plan order which the judge issued. And it was signed by Whitney Chaka. There's her electronic signature. We'll get to that just now. And to all the legal practitioners who appears on behalf of these. That's our court order. Electronically and accessible to you. I'm not a registered user now. I've used the public case inquiry. So just to prove to you, you have access to everything. You can see whatever you need. One thing and one thing only. The complete case number. That's the only thing. If you've got that, you have access to that electronic file. With one, do not try to put in the Competition Commission case number if you can get hold of it, because it will not open Why? Anybody who can think? Not because the system is broken. You can think of a reason why you will not, as public, not a registered user, be able to open a case. Have you ever heard of the following? In camera? Did you forget about that? It's marked in camera. If something is marked in camera, then we can't give the public access to that case. And because you're a non-registered user, you are public. Good. Let's move on. Any questions on public case search or on how to find your way on our electronic cases? And I must move on because I'm an hour already. How much time do you need? But don't worry. They said it's fine if we carry on until 9 o'clock, so we've got lots of time. Okay. You don't mind? You're learning something. Come on. I'll give you a short smoke break later. Any questions on public case inquiry? None. Because you're not interested or because I'm so good? Okay. Let's go to the e-justice availability to registered users. For you to be a registered, well, let's first say this. The following people or roles may be registered users. Legal practitioners, admitted, by the way, legal practitioners. Then legal practitioner support staff. That is candidate legal practitioners and a secretary to the legal practitioner. But in registering that person and admitting that person to use e-justice, the owner of the law firm must give the go-ahead. It's not in our hands. Because some of the legal practitioners say, no, I do not want my people to be registered on e-justice, and others say, yes, we do want them. But of course, the candidate legal practitioner, as well as the secretary, has very limited functions, because we look at what you are allowed to do on a case. If you are either legal practitioner, judge, registrar, assistant deputy registrar, secretary, and the functionality, the same as with NAMSIS, is attached to a specific role then. So, legal practitioners, support staff to legal practitioners, judges, both High and Supreme Court, the registrar or chief registrar, I've got more functionality than any other assistant or deputy registrar, simply because of the appointment that I hold. Then deputy and assistant registrars, clerks, various clerks at the High and the Supreme Court, because they need to render a service. Someone stands in front of them and they say, when is my case in court? Now they need to go on to e-justice, open the case and see when it is in court. For them to do that, they have that limited functionality. Judges' secretaries, because judges' secretaries assist judges. And last but not least, the service bureau staff. Now, what on earth is a service bureau? Anybody has heard about the e-justice service bureau? I'm going to tell you about it. Hopefully you're not going to use it, because there's nothing worse than being your own lawyer. Remember that. So even if you want to divorce your husband or your wife, rather get someone else. It's not going to work. But if you don't want to, you believe you're the best lawyer in town, you want to do your own divorce, but now you don't have access to e-justice because you're not a registered user, you visit our service bureau. You bring everything, you draw up your own papers, everything. And my clerks at the service bureau will then register the case on your behalf and on your instructions as per your instructions. Thereafter you have access, but whenever you need to take the process any further, you need to go to our service bureau again and you say, listen, I see now that they didn't defend this, so I wish to have this matter enrolled on the residual court for the undefended matrimonial for this and this date. Can you please do it? And you give her the set down, and then Julene will actually do it on your behalf while you sit there, because she requires your signature and the documents. We don't type documents for people. We don't draft documents. We don't print documents. We simply, it's almost like a filing desk. Nothing other than that. But apart from that, when you go home, you have access because you've got your case number and you are public. You've got case inquiry function there. So you can open your case and you can see what's happening on your case. So that is the Service Bureau. Now, e-Justice is a hybrid between form-based electronic systems and PDF upload systems. NAMSIS is actually also almost a hybrid between these two. Now, what's the difference between what's a form-based system and what is a PDF upload system? Botswana, their court system, electronic, is a PDF upload. It means you file everything like you do in the magistrate's court in civil cases. And then the clerks take it, they unstaple it, they put it through a scanner, they scan it in, and they upload the documents onto this so-called electronic file. That is PDF upload. Form-based, UAE, United Arab Emirates, what? UAE, yeah, United Arab Emirates. They have a form-based. And it's like applying for a visa in Australia. You log on and you complete forms, the one after the other. You cannot create your own document outside this environment. Whatever needs to be created, the system will create. With us, it's a hybrid. Because on affidavits, how can you do an affidavit on a form-based? How are you going to commission it? You can't. So our procedure required a bit of everything. So we took a bit of everything, we threw it into one basket, we gave it a good stir, and we came up with e-Justice. Now, once you are registered on the system, and I'm giving you this to ease your minds on some of the security aspects. The first thing the system is going to ask you is to create a username and password, which you do. The user decides to do it. The user decides on what the username is and what the password is. If you ask us to do it, then I will give you a default username and password, which I'm not going to tell you now because you can guess 99% of our judges' username and passwords. You know what my defaults are. But it's up to you to immediately change it for security purposes. The second thing the system is going to ask you is for your signature. And then you get people like Kennedy Harasep. You know what? I just want to give him a hiding. He takes the mouse and he's trying to do his signature on the table with the mouse. You remember his signature. The other day I said to him, now you come here. And I gave him the tab and I said, now you put in a proper signature. It's better to just take a stylus and your tab and just open e-Justice and do it there. So it's a proper signature. I see Whitney's also doesn't look good. If you see mine, it looks like the signature that you all know from those years. So that's the second thing, because the system used that signature to apply it to the electronically generated documents, notices, orders, etc., etc. If you have access to more than one court or division of court, then the system will, when you log in, and I'm going to log in now, then you can see, actually ask you to select for which court is it. Is it for Supreme Court, is it for High Court Main Division, or is it for High Court Northern Local Division? If you have only access, let's say you're appointed as an acting judge in the Main Division, then you don't need access to Northern Local Division or Supreme Court, so I will only give you access to Main Division. So the system is not going to ask you because it already knows. Alvin Simpson is only appointed here in the Main Division. So just take him straight there, save time. It's actually a very clever system, this. Think on your behalf. By the way, at this point in time, I realize I didn't tell you about the handouts. Now, on the case inquiry, we do have a small user guide. I've asked Lorraine to make you copies of that. She will give it to you. as far as the e-justice training guide for judges is concerned, I'm not going to, I made a copy, but she tells me it's a very slow copy machine here, so you can download it from our website under registers and reports. The user guides are there. So there is a user guide for judges, and there's also the introduction one, which tells you a bit more about e-justice and user registration and everything. Please play around, download it. Of course, if you are lucky enough to be appointed, you will most probably not get trained, because it's not viable to train one person for 2 weeks when they start. But between me and the rest of the staff, we will train you in your chambers. So do not worry. And like Annelie Prinsloo, I think I spent maybe half an hour with her, because if you can do NAMSIS, you can do e-justice, in all honesty. Now, e-justice is partially milestone or critical path driven. In NAMSIS, they use the word milestone, but I hear nowadays everybody in project planning, they speak about the critical path of everything. On my watch, it is now 3:15. We will continue at 3:20. And I promise you, I have very little more to show you, like in very little. So I think my stuff will be finished around about 3:30, and then, shall we finish quickly? And then we take the break. Okay, and I will push now. It is partially milestone or critical path driven. Now, if we use those terminology, let's look at it in action. What would the milestones in an action be? What would the critical path of an action be? Come on, people, you are not unfamiliar. It's things that stand out in the procedure. Issuing of the summons.
Is it to ensure that all the pleadings are filed?
Yeah.
First, is it defended? Close of pleadings. Hearing. With judicial case management, your case planning conference is absolutely critical path. Pre-trial conference, critical path. Case management conference, critical path. These are things that stand out. In between, there's a lot of things that happen. They discover and they fight and they try to settle and they try to mediate. But these are nitty-gritties in between. But these things that stand out. Now, e-justice knows about these things. And what e-justice does, and let me quickly just go out here. I'm going to log in as a judge. E-justice knows about these things. So what e-justice does is, it creates a task for the specific user or role to do something on the case because you've reached this milestone in the case. Now, if I can give you the particular judge, actually has jurisdiction in both the main division and the northern, or appointment in the northern and the main division. That's why this particular judge, I'm going to select main division and say, okay. But if he was only in main division, and you will see who it is just now, culprit, didn't change his password. If you log on, it immediately tells you the name of the user at the top there, Jose Angula. And you're immediately in e-justice confronted with what we call the dashboard. Now, why I started with this critical path milestone thing is all these things which Judge Angula must do, and only him will appear on his personalized dashboard. If I can give you an example. A lawyer called me this morning and he said to me, Alvin Harmse, I submitted an urgent application which should be on the roll for the 4th of December. Can you please quickly issue it for me? I said, sure. When I went onto the registrar or assistant deputy registrar's dashboard, it was there. It said, issue urgent application. So I could open it and I performed the task from my dashboard. As you can see, all the tasks which are there for him are here on his dashboard. He only has 3 at the moment. And if he clicks on the right mark, he can actually perform the task. It will take him to that particular task wizard. Now, I'm not a judge, and I'm also not Judge Angula, so therefore I'm immediately going to cancel this because I do not accidentally want to perform his tasks. So all your tasks created by the system due to the critical path of the case appears on your dashboard, and that is from where you will do those tasks. You have other places from where you can work, but mainly there. Just to give you a quick example of a critical path, that would be the first one for the assistant registrar on their dashboard, issue the urgent case. Once they've issued it, then on the registrar, chief registrar's dashboard, it will say assign judge. Then I decide who is the judge who's going to hear this case and who will manage this case, because urgent applications are being assigned upon issuing the application. Read your rules. So on my dashboard, I will find that and I immediately assign a judge. The moment I did that, the system automatically on the judge to whom I assigned it created a task on his dashboard to say, accept this judge assignment. Once he accepted it, the system immediately again creates another task for the same judge on his dashboard to tell him, hey, you've just now accepted an urgent application, now schedule it. Then the judge schedules it. Once he scheduled it, it creates a task on the assistant deputy registrar dashboard to tell us, the judge scheduled this urgent application, sign the notice. Then they sign the notice. Once they've done that, no more tasks. Because the initial critical path of the urgent application is now fulfilled. Because what's the next thing to happen? They have to serve, they have to decide whether they want to oppose, they have to file affidavits, and the matter is already scheduled on the roll because the judge scheduled it. So everything is now done. So it's also a constant reminder of the work that you need to do on your files. But the work you need to do are not limited to those. Okay. Now, other functionality you will get either from the side menu. What is the side menu? This bit here. Or you will get it from the specific electronic case. So let's just quickly run through the functionality available for judges only on the side menu. Number one, it's got the dashboard. I've already told you what the dashboard is. It's a list of all those tasks imminent which you need to attend to right now. It even tells you before when, the due date. The ideal is to clear your dashboard every day. So when you go home, it must be empty. Then you know you are not accumulating a backlog of work. The second thing is customized to the type of user or the specific user, if you are a judge. It gives you also some statistics. So it tells this judge how many case management cases, because he's also got the role of judge president. That's why he can see a bit more than others. It tells him exactly how many cases was assigned to the various judges as case management cases. Not assigned, but active at that very moment. So I can tell you now that I know that one is Herman Oosthuizen, who's got 251 active electronic case management files, which he now deals with. Hannelie Prinsloo, 245. She told me she never realized that that is the amount of work that a judge is confronted with. She said to me at the end of last Friday, she said to me, I need a holiday immediately. People, I've been a magistrate for 14 years. There's no way that any magistrate, doesn't matter in which division, in which court, can have the amount of work which our judges are confronted with. No way. And remember, they still have paper files also. So this is a short summary of what's going on just on the statistics which assist the judge there. And this is his personalized one. It tells him that he's got 32, he's on the motion, so he doesn't have that many cases at the moment. 32 hearings set down for him on motion. He's got, this is now Judge Angula himself, one scheduled court roll, one schedule, these are tasks. He must schedule to the court roll, one that he must schedule for a hearing, and 3 not finalized, probably assigned to him, waiting for pleadings to be closed. So a glimpse at what's going on with your own role. The second thing is your calendar. You can sort by day, week, month, and what it does is it gives you the cases set down for that specific judge for that period or day. So it will give you a whole list of cases for that specific day, week, or month. Case management, my cases, if you click on that, it brings up a list of all the cases where this specific judge is the managing judge. So there's all his cases, and it also gives him the status of those cases. And this is also where you will open your case, your electronic case, if he wants to work on it. We'll get back to that now. These are only, as you can say, Uzayangula. But if he goes to all cases over there, then it opens up all the cases in the main division. Doesn't matter who's the managing judge and whether or not there is a managing judge. It opens up all cases, finalized, not finalized, everything. You can also search by putting in a part of the number and say contains, and then it will bring up all the cases which has got that 00207, and just to make your life easier. Or you can also search by putting in a part of a name or a whole name and just tell the system search for this name, and it will bring up all the cases with that. The best thing here is, of course, the search case by party. We are all familiar with the self-actors. I need not to say anything further. This tells you all the cases where the word, that specific surname appears. Not all of them to the same person. As you can see, here's a Rogers Marvin, there's August, here's a Harold, there's a Michelle. So you can also search by name. Now, of course, the lawyers who do the, what do they call this, due diligence searches for big companies, they are very grateful for this, because they search now to see what cases a specific company which they want to take over, they do a due diligence search, let's say on Gunnar Jensen trading as, wat is hy toch, Cashbolt, nie Cashbolt nie, penny pinchers. Then they can put it in here and they know all the cases. Is it against penny pinchers or is it penny pinchers suing other people? If they want to do liquidations and sequestrations, very easy to do a search here in order to get all the creditors where there are cases in the High Court. So it's very helpful. Now, of course, if for a lawyer, for instance, he can do this and he can get it, but if he's not on this case, he can't open the case as a registered user. He has to make use of the public case inquiry, because lawyers only have access to the cases which belong to their firms. Okay. Then, very important, case hearings. You can either look at all active hearings, and it will bring up all the active hearings. You can put in a specific name. In this instance, it says Herman Oosthuizen here, and it will bring up all the hearings, and I can see here that he's already got a lot of hearings there, and you can also search from smallest to oldest. And now I'm going to see that he didn't do the order of the 21st of August yet on e-justice. So I have to go and speak to them. Yesterday you all received the lists of these orders that need to be done. I can also see it's the only old one thereafter. It's for the 27th of November, which was yesterday. And I know why. He had a very long case management role, so they're still busy processing and doing these orders. They did it in court, but now they're doing the electronic ones. Judge Geyer, on the other hand, as he goes along, he does his orders. Same with NAMSIS. I used to sit there, I opened the case and I typed my whole record. on my NAMSIS case. By the time I went out, everything was done. Some of my colleagues, they had the handwritten thing, and then they would give it to some of the data captures and said, "Oh, just capture, please. I don't want to use this thing." I don't know what level you are. If you are one of the latter, I suggest that you start using NAMSIS, because if you are ever getting to the High Court, we're going to force you to use this thing. The judge can also look at active hearings just for him for today. As I said, the first one, active hearings, is all hearings, doesn't matter for which date it was set down. But today's case hearings, there is only one left allocation of trial date for Annelie Prinsloo. It was set down for 8:30 this morning in chambers, and she obviously still needs to do this order on the case. They agreed upon that. So the second one, only the active hearings for today. Once a judge also did the order, it doesn't say that it was only this case for today. There was many cases, but it was Judge Geyer. He already did these cases earlier this morning. The orders are out, and that's why there's only one which still is unattended. Completed hearings brings up just completed hearings, and then if you need to change any case hearing. Then most importantly, reports. I'll quickly log into this. I promised you half. I've got two things that I'm quickly going to show you, and then I am finished. You log in with the same username and password that you used to log into the e-justice system. I've logged in now as myself into the reports one, and it gives you There's the list of reports accessible to everybody. The list is accessible to the legal practitioners is a bit shorter. I don't want them to know too much about our outstanding judgments. They can read about that in the report. But as far as how many cases issued, what are the status of those cases, how many are finalized, what is our, for instance here, the average lifespan per judge, the average lifespan of our cases per whoever the finalized, they also want to know how much money did they pay in for revenue stamps and how much did they use. They can get all of this as well as the hearing list. And just to quickly show you, I'll quickly do a finalized case search here, just to see what's the average age of our electronic cases when it's being finalized. Let's just do for a specific period. We are all doing statistics, so January, February, March, let's say it was up to the end of March, and we are looking at cases being issued right from the beginning. Now this seems to be cumbersome to complete all of this, but it is to be versatile, and in order to enable us to draw statistics for specific periods that we need to give into head office and the UN and everybody. Now, you can just view it here, or you can export it as a PDF, Excel, various types. I kind of like to do it as Excel, simply because it gives me the ability to sort it in different ways, and it's much more flexible. Okay, then you can actually see on the Excel one that on our civil cases for the period, cases finalized during the period January, February, March 2017, the average lifespan of the judicial case management cases, these are in calendar days for action proceedings contract, was 139 days. Those are the cases under residual court. And the average lifespan was 82 days for the undefended matters. Quite impressive, come to think of it. It's just more than 4 months average lifespan from the date that you issue the summons, and it's a case under case management. So those are in days, and then if you combine the residual and the docket, there it is. And as you can see, there's also a breakdown. So very helpful with statistics, and especially for the judges. If you draw reports only for your own cases, you can see, oh, you've got a case which is 365 days. Oh no, why? Then you can actually go and look for the reasons for postponement. You can see there were 14 postponements, all of it for status hearing. No. We must do something about it. So it's very helpful. So the reports on the side menu also available. Now let's just quickly open any case for that matter, and no, I don't want to open from there. The last piece of functionality for the judges is from the case itself, which I've mentioned. So I'm just going to open any one of Judge Angula's cases. Your functionality, when you open the case in itself, lies on your top menu. So he can change the judge. Why? Maybe he now realizes that one of the witnesses in this matter is his cousin. Then what does he need to do? He needs to recuse. How does he recuse? He will change judge. He will click on the functionality. No. Which will take him immediately to that job that he needs to do. And he can select a new judge. Of course, he will arrange with the judge and he will put in his reason why he is giving this case away, because we can't just randomly give away cases. No, it doesn't work that way. He can also, unfortunately, once you've done a function, then the case closes and you need to reopen it again, because usually you only do one thing on the case if it is functionality wise. He can also change the next hearing. He now suddenly needs to go to Northern Local Division because Judge Cheddar fell ill and somebody needs to stand in for him. And the JP said, DJP, off to Oshikati you go, you will stand in for Judge Cheddar. But now he knows he's got all these cases on his roll. So he can reschedule, update case hearing. I'm not going to open everything, it's a waste of time. But he can reschedule. Or he needs to go to the dentist that morning because he broke a tooth last night. So he can reschedule to 2 o'clock. The moment he does it, immediately there's a notification on the cell phone or the email going through to the legal practitioner. By the way, the judge rescheduled. You were supposed to be in court at 10, but he rescheduled it to 2 o'clock. And you will also get the message here at the top, and you will also see the document on the file. So we keep on sending these email notifications, and if your email is on your cell phone, you hear these beep, 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 beeps on the legal practitioner's cell phones, because every time something happens on one of their cases, they actually get a notification. And by the way, the judges also and the registrars also. Now, Judge Angula, he cleared his a long time ago, 359. I cleared mine last week, and it's again on 5,300 notifications just on my system. So what I did was, I gave the wrong email address to the system so that I don't get 5,300 emails in 1 week. But it depends on what role you have. Judges, they don't get that many, so it's fine. The judge can also file a document. He wants to file his judgment, he wants to, whatever, he can file a document. Ad hoc tasks usually not used by the judges, but the judge can actually select ad hoc tasks, add another case party, maybe he permitted joinder on a joinder application. There was an amendment of pleadings or case party details. He can actually do it. Usually the judge will not do it. The research assistant will attend to these tasks because they also have the same functionality, but they will only do it once there is an order. But the judge can actually do it. And now it's going to go away again. And the last one, he can also add another hearing. He wants to schedule, he wants to see them in chambers. Maybe they filed a their case plan or the pre-trial minutes, and now he looked at it and he thinks to himself, you know what, I actually want them to also do this or that or that. So I'm going to call them to chambers so you can schedule another hearing here from this case. But last but not least, he can also mark the cases in camera. And that only a judge can do, to mark the cases in camera. So if you approach the judge and you say, Judge, or the judge accepts it and he goes through it and he says, whoo, look at this particular subclaim, you can actually mark it as in camera. And those are the functionalities for the judges. Now, of course, he can also do the orders and things that you do from the hearing list. But seeing that I'm not giving you training, but simply an overview, I think you've seen enough for today. Any questions? None whatsoever. What do you think of e-justice? You all know NAMSIS, and you won't offend me if you prefer NAMSIS, because who was the author of NAMSIS? Me. So, a lot of functionality, am I right? Actually very user-friendly. And I'm sure you sat here and you thought to yourself, oh, it's like completing in NAMSIS. It's like doing this, it's like doing that. If you do a court order also on NAMSIS, what do? You say postponement, then you have to select the date, the venue. Am I right? The reason, the type of hearing next time. Same here. No difference. The looks might be a bit different, but it's exactly the same thing. Exactly. If you do a judgment, you select judgment. If you do sentence, you've got those drop-down lists. Here we don't have criminal, but you've got the drop-down list and you select. If you want to very, very fast, quickly, you want to get to something which is at the bottom of the list, you're not going to scroll down. You're just going to quickly type in the first 2 letters fast and then, choops, it jumps there. The system does the same. So this is NAMSIS on steroids. Nothing other than that. Any questions? Thank you for listening to me. You have a break. It is almost quarter to 4, and we'll start at 4 o'clock, and then we're going to push through until we're pushed to be ready or finished by 9:30, more or less. Okay, we'll push it.
As long as the suppliers will learn.